What's going on, everybody? This is Randall Barnes, the founder of HBCU Pulse and the host of HBCU Pulse Radio, in the building for another special edition of the show on today, where we're reacting to College Hill Celebrity Edition Season 3, Episode 7, the season finale eve of College Hill Celebrity Edition. And this was, Kiya, a College Hill week indeed. We'll talk about it all. I got Kiya Wimbush-Robinson in the building, a writer for HBCU Pulse and Clutch Points. How you doing today, Kiya?
I'm good, Randall. How are you?
It has been so much going on just in life in general, and definitely with the political scene, but also with like the adjacent political scene of a Republican National Convention speaker beating up a known reality TV show fighter. Okay, so we got to start with that, Kiya, because listen, I did a video on it. You sent the video to me. Okay, I decided I was going to do this video on it where I did an old school audio just breakdown, and I showed the video at the top because the folks last year just swore up and down, he's clickbaiting. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put it at the top. Y'all leave, that's on y'all. Okay, and if people came, they watched, they were reacting to me. So I already gave my thought, Kiya. So TMZ, like they do, they found a way to get the video of Amber Rose and Joseline Hernandez fighting on season 2 of College Hill Celebrity Edition at Alabama State University. It was not originally aired on the episode because BET doesn't condone violence. This is the same BET that showed the Virgin Islands fight, but they don't condone violence. So essentially, it's caused a lot of conversation, and a lot of folks have a lot of positions on who won the fight and all these different things. So you sent it to me, Kiya. So you're the basis for this conversation. So I need you to tell me what you think about this fight, Kiya.
So when I saw it, I said, ooh, because it was so crazy how we were like just talking about that like last week, and like Amber Rose and like her fighting Joseline or whatever. I just think it's just so convenient how like all of a sudden TMZ has like the footage now. I'm not, this is just hearsay, but I feel like Amber Rose saw some of those comments and said, I'm going to show y'all something. Y'all want to see something? Y'all thought I got beat up? I'm going to show y'all something, because like the timing is just like, it's too perfect. Like, everyone's bringing up College Hill and like the things that Joseline were saying, and then like the fight and everything. And then for the fight to actually drop after it's been months since the show has like aired and like gone off. So I was just like, and I expected a lot more from the fight. I thought it was going to be longer. It was only about 15 seconds, if that. I thought it was going to be more. But I just thought it was so funny that like all of a sudden like we finally get to see the footage like after everyone's kind of like having their think pieces on Amber Rose and saying Joseline was right. So I'm just like, Amber probably said, not today. I'm about to show you guys something because y'all not gonna play with me. But I just wasn't expecting to see that. It was just so random.
It was, and the fact that it came out was shocking. Like when I saw that TMZ, because the link you sent me, because I'm gonna give us like some inside stuff. So the link you sent me was an aggregation page called Glock Topics, and I'm very familiar with Glock Topics. They post all the messy hip hop, rap, beef, dirt, all the different stuff. So I was like, oh wow, so Glock Topics got it? Glock Topics. So I was like, oh, TMZ got it. That makes sense. Because it's like Glock Topics, no. And the shot of Glock Topics. But if HBCU Pulse post, I would have been like, HBCU Pulse, they got pulled like that. So I'm like, no, TMZ. Because see, TMZ got lawyers. Okay, TMZ got lawyers. Like, listen, I don't know what Glock Topic got, okay, but Pulse, I mean, we got some people we know. All right, there's folks in the HBCU network that have law degrees. But listen, they cost money. Okay, so like I just like, I don't know if they sit in my way. I would have prayed about it first. I'm telling you, because I ain't trying to get because listen, BT would have shut this whole stream down. They would have heard me talking about Saucy Santana and all the different stuff. They would have made sure to sue me. So like I was like, yo, what's really going on? But it was just interesting because it did come out. It's been over a year because that episode aired in June of last year, mid-June last year. So it was just crazy that it happened. It was odd, the occurrence of time that it occurred, because people were talking about Amber Rose speaking at the Republican National Convention. So it was just very, very interesting. And I just came to the consensus that Amber did win that fight. Like I think we all can agree on that. But people are saying that, I guess, Kiya, we can't fight. If you think that Amber won, you just can't fight. Okay, that's what they told me, Kiya. When they were on the video that I did, they said y'all can't fight. Amber didn't win, so I don't know.
I wasn't there, so there was a lot of things happening. I personally was not in the room, but I will say, even though I'm not really a fan of hers, Amber got a couple licks in. Like I told you, Amber's from Philly, so you know she wasn't going like that. But we know that Joseline can fight because we've seen it on multiple platforms. Whether that was Baddies or was that Love and Hip Hop, we know Joseline has hands. So it's like there could have been a whole bunch of reasons why she wasn't on her A game because Joseline is someone I personally would not want to fight because she gets active. You know, I've never run away from a fight, but I'm just saying Joseline gets active. But I will say Amber did get a couple licks, and you got to give credit where credit is due. Like I said, the girl's from Philly, and they don't play up there. So
yeah, and I want to just say this again because what I said was correct when we were giving the breakdown last week. Amber told Orion, who's Omarion's brother, that they were just outside kicking it that first episode. We don't necessarily know when that was recorded, like what point in time, whether that was a later point in time, that was the same day that they came in, because they move into the house. It's a Saturday. Then they go to talking about a fight, talking about like energy, that Jackson State versus Alabama State game where Deion Sanders got pushed by Coach Eddie Robinson and Ed Robinson Jr. And then Ed Robinson said, he ain't swag, I'm swag. He ain't swag. And then Deion said, who is swag, baby? Like that was that same type of thing. So it was a lot going on. They were there.
What did you say?
Like they were there.
Deion Sanders, man. Shout out to the Leos. It's Leo season, so shout out to Deion Sanders for that.
Listen, Eddie Robinson Jr. Listen, he held it down because we found out Eddie Robinson Jr. was swag. Okay, went to Alabama State, graduated from Alabama State, went to the NFL, came back, and might lead him to a Celebration Bowl. So, shout out to Deion for all the stuff you doing, but nah. But like that still was something that was real cool. It was interesting that they were there. I don't know if they saw it because that was a really great football game in general. But it was that same Saturday, so they go back to the house, I guess, and then you see in that first episode Amber and Orion talking, and that's when she said that like she was called the white girl, and literally the white girl when she was in Philadelphia. So that's why I say, and she said she used to carry a steak knife because she used to fight so much. So that is why I say that I believe I am not a mental health professional. I am a therapy patient. Okay, so I do not have this degree. Okay, but what I think is that it was a fight or flight. Like she went back in her mind to when those folks in Philly were calling her white girl, and she just got up and then she just started swinging. She had a flashback real quick,
she
and
she just started swinging. And it's easy to get very triggered. Yeah, you know, we gotta call it spade a spade. It's so easy to get triggered depending on what you've gone through in life, and Joseline probably did trigger her. But just now we know, like, the infamous fight. A lot of people are kind of like taking back what they said about Joseline. It was like, oh, well, like making excuses, especially because, we know the direction that Amber Rose has moved in since then. So
yeah, and like I said last week, and I want to say it again, like Joseline Hernandez will hurt your inner child and your outer self. Telling you. Like that's what she'll do, and but I guess she didn't hurt the adult Amber, okay? Like she hurt the outside adult, but she hurt the inner child, and that's not a good thing. So I still don't believe that Amber was necessarily wrong. Well, I would say it like this: she was wrong. I would say I don't believe that Joseline was right because Amber was wrong. I don't think that Joseline was right, and if the folks that listen to this think, oh, he this and that. Like I said in the video I did, I am a Kamala Harris Democrat. Okay, that's what I am. So don't bring the cool stuff over. Don't do that. Okay, that's number one. And also, someone was like, "Is this what HBCUs produce?" Yes. Okay.
I saw that. I saw that.
You saw that. And I was like,
I said, "Ooh."
I want to say that to that person, say, is this what HBCUs produce? That like they're saying that Joseline wasn't right. Yes. And guess what else they produce? Presidents. Anyway. All right, let's go and get out of here.
A black job.
Yeah, right. Like presidents. We're gonna produce a president in November, so don't even worry about it. And Amber ain't gonna be talking about Amber when Kamala Harris be president because it's over. Okay, unless Jocelyn finds her. Anyway, all right. So
she might want a rematch.
Oh yeah, she said she want a rematch because she knows she lost. She did. She knows she lost.
I don't know.
Yeah, she wants it. Listen, BET Awards. Amber better go to all the country music awards. She better go to another BET Awards because
no, they will kick her out. They're gonna say, "Ma'am, come with me, please." She gonna be like Miss Nether and Charles can't even get in. Can't even get in.
My gosh. But okay, we talked about that and we got the other video. If you want to hear my full thoughts on it, go to the video where I gave the video footage at the top. Then I gave my reaction to it. If you don't want to hear the reaction, don't hear it. I don't care. I still get the views. But like, if you want to see the footage, it's on there until BET might take it down. We'll see. All right. But let's talk about College Hill Celebrity Edition Season 3, Episode 7. It is the last episode before the season finale. To be honest, it was very much like a sort of, in a way, a chill episode. It was sort of positive as it was. And I have been very intentional with my thoughts on Saucy Santana in this season. I really believe that he has, honestly, no joke, has drugged down this season. He's made it almost borderline unwatchable with how he's been acting and his just defiance to the notion of being a college student. And I went back because of the Amber Rose Joseline Hernandez fight. I went back and I watched College Hill Celebrity Edition Season 2 for the first time probably in like a year. Because if you look back at my YouTube history, I didn't do a reaction to the last episode because I was just so tired. I'm not even gonna lie, like, it was a cool season, but I was just tired of watching it because I was doing the recaps and I was doing the thing, I was editing, and the folks were like, "Oh, you lied, you thought the footage was gonna be that," and it's like it got annoying. So I was just like, man, whatever, you know. So I didn't even watch the last episode when it was going on. I eventually end up going to watch it and seeing who ultimately was valedictorian and all different things like that. But I went back and watched that first episode. And it was interesting because Joseline was a problem at that point. She was bullying Parker. She got into it with New York. And she was just a general problem, so much so that they had a whole entire meeting about how she was acting. But in watching that, it was just a different energy. And I said it in the recap that I did last year on that first episode. It just was a different energy around the Alabama State season that season 1 didn't have, and I think it was good it didn't have it, and season 3 doesn't have. And I think that it's an intrigue because if you're looking at the assortment of the cast, Joseline, New York, Ray J, then you look at sort of the supporting cast around sort of the drama starters, and you have a cast of like relatively young folks. You got Quay, you have Orion, you have Parker that's around our age. So it's like you have folks that were just college age that like are now going to college. You have Quay that went to Texas Southern and he became popular on social media, then he left. So it was a different, and it was 8 of them. It wasn't just 6, it was 8 of them. So it was a different energy and a different specificity to how the house ran and the intrigue around it. And even when Joseline left in the episodes that I did watch last year, it just was better. And I just want to say, like, I enjoy College Hill. Like, I honestly would not be doing this if I didn't enjoy it. No matter if people watched it, no matter if like it was getting views. I'm the type of person that at the end of the day, if I don't enjoy it, I'm not going to do it. You know what I mean? We're doing this on Fridays too. And like, you know, it's like why would I do it on a Friday? I got other things I have to do with my work and my job, right? But my thing is that I enjoy College Hill, but I just believe that when you look at that season, there was an intrigue that this one didn't have. And I just really believe that it's Saucy Santana's fault. It's him not really caring about being in college. It's him not really caring about the academic side of things. I think that his actions drug down this season so much. And he even sort of killed a really good episode here just with his general lack of care.
I can see that. But do you think it's more so like the people that they chose for this season? Because if you look at it, not saying these people are boring in any sense. I'm definitely not saying that. But it's hard to go up against people like Ray J, people like New York, who's so iconic in the reality TV world, even down to Orion being Omarion's brother. And then of course we got Ray J. Like, Rachel be everywhere. So it's like I also feel like too, and then Joseline, like it's Joseline. So it's like I feel like also the people that they chose for this season, um, maybe weren't like the most entertaining as individuals. So collectively, it's kind of giving off a very lackluster feel, and there's less of them. There's only 6 versus the usual 8. They usually have 8, right? Yeah, so now there's only 6. So I feel like that plays a part in it too because even down to Karlous, like Karlous, I feel like still would have thrived in a space with like Joseline and Amber and Ray J. So I think it's also too like the mixture of the people because no shade to like Nick at all. He doesn't play basketball anymore. I can not saying that I forgot about him, but he really hasn't been like in the limelight since he was like playing for real. It's not like he stopped playing basketball and he's like in broadcasting. It's kind of like what Shannon Sharper's doing. So even though he no longer plays football, like he's on First Take, he got Club Shay Shay, all that other stuff. So it's like maybe I think because like the group of people that they chose, it doesn't mesh together well. Because even down with Saucy Santana, I feel like if there were other more interesting people, it wouldn't be so like he wouldn't be such like a main focus. You know what I'm saying? Because everyone else is like pretty chill. And I think in the other seasons, even though like I haven't watched them all the way through, like I've seen some of them, that it seems like in the cast like before that there was more. The individuals themselves brought their own level of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Whereas these people are simply just going to class, even though that's what the show is primarily about, them going to class, getting this certificate. But there are interesting people outside of the classroom. So it's like at this point we're kind of just watching celebrities go to class and then how they're interacting with each other, but it's not on the most entertaining level that what we're used to seeing.
I feel that, but the only thing I would say is to this. I have a few things I would say. Is that with a Saucy Santana, if you bring in that level of how Saucy Santana has been acting, this isn't College Hill anymore. It's Love and Hip Hop. And that's what he's typically on. Because I saw a commercial. He's on this season, Love and Hip Hop. Like, so it's like, congrats to him. My thing is like, I wouldn't want more people to match Saucy Santana. I would want there to be less of a focus on him because even with what I saw from Joseline, those first 2 episodes of season 2, what you saw was there was more of a focus because the fact that you can have an Amber Rose conversation with Orion that was the precursor to that fight. That like I don't know if that same thing would exist here or if it existed if viewers would remember it because Saucy's yelling and all the different stuff. He's going to see his tutor and all the different. It's distracting from what's going on. Like if you look at what that Alabama State season was, you look at the fact that they went to I believe the Legacy Museum and they didn't even film when they went in there. And you see Joseline crying just all the stuff she saw and atoning with how Black folks were treated throughout history. And then even Amber sort of was going through it and dealing with it and all these different things. And then they're talking about all these different real sensitive, hard-hitting topics. There was a point in time after episode 2 when Dr. Petty, who was like their advisor, that was their Dr. Peyton Stewart, after she talked to Joseline, up until that fight, Joseline was perfectly fine. Up until that episode where there was clearly contention and it then led to a fight because Amber and Quay got into it and Quay apologized to her. Everything was smooth and we got a chance to really see some real cool moments where you had the celebrities interfacing with the classes and Black history. We have not seen that in the same veracity this season because you had Karlous with the homelessness thing, and we'll give him that because he improved and it did cause a very interesting conversation. But Saucy Santana not being there has been more of a focus than anything else because we see Saucy sleep on the couch so many times. I don't know how many times I gotta see Saucy Santana sleep on the couch, and then they having a good old they teaching down good old lesson. All of a sudden, you just hear snoring. He just laid out. Like I know he's not there. Okay, I believe you. Okay, y'all do some deceptive editing, but I believe he's not there. Okay, you don't got to show him not being there and then give interviews with the cast saying, "Well, Saucy's not there. I don't know if he wants to be here. We got to give him together." It took away from the plantation visit. It took away from the interviews with the elders. It took away from so much. The only thing we really got to feel that Saucy was there for was the Covenant House. And then Saucy had a dope moment with someone that looked up to him. Like that was my thing when it came to it. I think this season could have been real smooth. It could have been real cool. And then we could have possibly seen, like, you got Angela White on the track team. You got all the other folks that are part of these different organizations. We ain't even seen that. This is about to be episode 8. All we know is that Angela be running track with him. That's all we know. So it's like he has destroyed this whole season because we could be seeing him doing extracurricular and co-curricular activities, but we see Saucy Land now. It's just sort of just frustrating.
I can see that, but I honestly think, I'm not. This is just my personal opinion. I honestly feel like they do that in how they edit the show to show what he's truly like missing out on. Because if you look at all these experiences, yeah, they're a part of the curriculum, yeah, they're a part of the class, but these celebrities are really taking something from these experiences. So, especially the things that happen outside of the classroom. So, I think they kind of do that to show Amir that he's truly missing out on what all the show is about. And I can get why it gets kind of like frustrating because you can only watch him sleep so many times. But I think they do that just to show that he's truly missing out on some great things and some great experiences because he cannot get his act together.
I'll say this too, and to add to that, there was a part of last season where they were partying, they were up, they were turned, and I believe it was Ray J, it was New York, and it was a third. I think it might have been Joseline, and they did not go to class, and then the teachers recognized, like, hey, y'all got 3 people missing, and it was treated differently than this season. Now, this might not be on College Hill. This actually might be on Xavier University of Louisiana, because that whole story around them partying and then them not going was treated differently because Dr. Petty, who was the Dr. Peyton Stewart of that season, came to the house. And it was a whole 2-episode thing because she comes and knocks on the door, and then they 12 years old. They doing something not supposed to. Oh my God, mom's coming. Like, oh my God, it's like, girl, hide. Like that was how these grown people were acting. And then they were like, coming up next on College Hill. And then we saw that next episode, we saw Dr. Petty talk to New York, talk to Ray J, have a real talk with Ray J because Ray J was struggling. Then you look at this season, only one person has not been going to class, but we've seen him sleeping and we see him treat Dr. Peyton Stewart with disrespect. There ain't been no pop-ups, and been them going to the house. It's not been no consequences except what hopefully will happen next week. So
Yeah, I think they gave him the boot. I think so. Even if like they wanted to pass him on, he's really just like failing. Like he's not even like they even said if he were to pass like these last 2 classes, he could graduate. He in the music class and not showing up. Like, sir, you are a rapper, you love music, and you not showing up. But he is someone that you can tell that lacks accountability and hates like for people to hold him accountable. Because when you lack accountability, you hate when people try like you see people trying to make you like hold yourself accountable as someone like trying to comfort you. He was like, she's always trying to ambush me and do this and do that. No, she wants you to tighten up and hold yourself accountable. So he lacks accountability, which is honestly, whether you're an adult or not, it's something that some people can do it from a young age, but sometimes for most people, you have to learn how to hold yourself accountable. And when with holding yourself accountable, when someone tells you about yourself, you don't take it as an attack. Every time she or one of his housemates bring up him not going to class, he looks at it as an attack. But that's something that he should talk with that lady, aka a licensed therapist. But
but here's the thing. He's licensed therapist. Here's the thing. That whole entire thing at the beginning of the episode when they're in the music class and Angela is dozing off doing that presentation. And the way that Saucy Santana acted, and this is what I came up with when I was watching that. I said clearly Saucy Santana and Logic don't get along. Like clearly, like they beefing. They about to fight like how Amber Rose and Joseline did. Logic don't like him. Okay, like Logic don't. But here's the thing though. Because I understand the impetus of it is that y'all were talking about me being sleeping in these classes, but there's another cast member asleep. Why don't y'all keep that same energy with her? But here's the reason why Saucy Santana, Angela White crashed out over getting a B. So she clearly wants to be here, and then we didn't even need the flashback of her running track and doing all this different stuff at Zula. We didn't even need that for us to know that she really is trying within this program. She's trying to get good grades, and she's actually been engaged in the experience. Culture, I didn't need that flashback because clearly Saucy Santana, him and Logic are getting along. Him and Common Sense got beef. Him and accountability is in an Olympic race, and he winning. Okay, like that, like that's really what's going on here. It was frustrating to a point because it's like you look at Angela and you see that she's trying. Like, and this was just me because I wasn't expecting this. Like when they come down, right, and then it was the voter registration thing. Did you see how she was dressed? She turned into Black China. She had the makeup on. She had hair. I wasn't expecting it. I just wasn't expecting like that told me because at first I was like, where's she going? She going to the photo shoot? Then it all came. I was like, oh, she's dressing like this because she wants this extra credit. And she got it. Everybody got it, but like she got it. And that's why it's like, Saucy, like, do you really see what's going on? And I'll give him this out. I'll give him this out. Are you doing this on purpose? Are you doing this to make it interesting? Because you can't be this dense. Like, come on, he can't be this dense. I just because it's like I just don't for me. And I always say I say this with All American. You've heard me say with All American off show. You've heard me say this with Grownish. Hopefully y'all you've seen my rants about Grownish. I know that for some of these shows are not for me, and this show might not be for me because what shows are really for Black men? We watching sports, okay? We watching football, okay? We watching basketball. What shows are really is Power really for me? I don't know. But like the thing here is that how I look at Saucy Santana within this is I just believe that this show and the way it is constructed to have these celebrities that are a part of this experience, I just personally believe that we don't need to see him acting crazy and acting foolish because the show itself, it lends itself to the celebrities going through this college process. And then like we see them sort of struggle, we see them triumph, the end. Because season 1, was it as interesting as season 2? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. And the reason why, even excluding the fight, is you're right, the personalities. But I just believe that Saucy Santana, if he's acting, we don't need that. If he's serious, he needs to grow up. Just be honest. Just for me. And I know I am not representative of the rest of the college or celebrity edition viewer because I'm looking at this from an HBCU lens and also a work lens because this is my job. But like I'm looking at it from an HBCU lens of when people are saying, oh, a college chill celebrity edition is a bad depiction of HBCUs. I disagree. Even with the fight, I disagree because I believe that what we've seen from all 3 seasons is these celebrities actually getting taught, actually doing work, and then season 2, a great showcase of Black history through the lens of Alabama State. But my thing is that when Saucy Santana and how he's acting on this show without getting checked up to maybe episode 8 for real and walking off and talking to Dr. Peyton Stewart like she's somebody on Love and Hip Hop, that makes us look bad in my opinion.
Because honestly, if we're being for real, they could have got rid of him like halfway through. They could have got rid of him like halfway through. Because at some point, like, you hope there's like this redemption arc where he like gets himself together. But the show ends next week and he's not doing none of that. So it's like he could have left. You ever see I forgot what show it was. I think it might have been I forgot what the show was. But in like the episode the person um like ate the candy, right? And they were like, "Who ate my candy?" And it was them. That's how, like, so seeing the preview to the next episode where Saucy saw that the girl had wrote Nick's article in the paper, and he thought him waltzing in with his little laptop was gonna do it. No. You were late on top of it. Then you didn't even do the assignment correctly. So it's now you're just like, by Bray, I think her name was Brea, something like that. And he was mad. You didn't do, like, it's different when you mess your own stuff up. But this is something involving another person, and Nick really wanted, his story in the paper like everyone else. So you couldn't even do that for him as his quote unquote friend. It's the Saucy show. Like, at some point, yeah, Saucy is a one man show and all. And no shade, no tea. If that was Carisha, I bet you would have did it. Yeah, that's his ace bone coon, like my mom always say. So I bet you if Young Miami was there, or what's his man named Zell off Love and Hip Hop, if it was one of them, you would do it.
It isn't, and yeah, like I totally agree, and I think he's really approached this like this is Love and Hip Hop, and it's just it. Like I'd honestly believe, and like I said, I speak for me. I speak for me, and I'm not representative of the college show fan base. I'm a part of the fan base. I watched the original shows, and I watched all three. I'm basically the College Hill guy at this point. Can we just? I'm probably the College Hill guy, and we're the College Hill show. Can we be for real? Because like who is really breaking it down like how we're breaking it down? Like we put this in a college context, okay? Like we went on 20 minutes talking about school last week, So it's like who's really doing this? So I don't know if with this platform we can influence things like for BET, but BET list. I think that once again, I will say, if BET was actually watching this, that season 2 worked well because you had older celebrities, but they had a range. I think Ray J might have no. I think New York was probably the oldest one. Like I think she's mid-40s. Ray J was at that point in his early 40s. Parker was the youngest one. She's 26, right? So she based on that is 4 years removed from the college experience. When the College Show Celebrity Edition first premiered, I sort of looked at it as like BET's version of Celebrity Big Brother using existing IP that for years people have been saying bring College Hill back. So I thought they were like, hey, well, we can do Celebrity Big Brother and then use College Hill and utilize HBCUs as the conduit for it. They're in a house, but they're going to school. And then the end goal is them getting their grades and seeing who's the valedictorian, salutatorian, who's graduated with honors. But it's really more than that because Celebrity Big Brother has its own thing, and I interviewed someone from Celebrity Big Brother, Mimi Hayes, but like it's different because this is very much so a show that is centered around school, and that's why when it was so much pushed back to the notion of a College Hill Celebrity Edition, we found it was unfounded, and I wasn't one of those people. Like it was unfounded because this is very much a college show. And I think that the meshing of experiences, like I never would have thought I would see in a show like New York and Joseline on the same show. You know what I mean? Like I never thought like that I would see Karlous and Claudia really interact. Like just people that I know that I'm fans of. I'm fans of 85 South Show. Like I've been a fan of Claudia Jordan since I was younger, listened to the Foxhole, and I shouldn't have been, okay? With Jamie Foxx, because she was funny on there. So, and then Ricky Smiley, she was on Ricky Smiley. We're not gonna talk too much about that because that ended badly. But like, I'm a fan of these folks. And I understand the meshing of it. But I just believe that maybe having a younger cast. Now, not necessarily everybody being younger, because if you're 26, you are not that far removed from college life, because that age for some folks is when folks decide, hey, I'm either I'm getting my graduate degree, or if you dropped out, you might decide to go back at the age of 26. So that's just my thing. I think the reason why I like season 2 in hindsight, because I said things about season 2. Okay, I got to listen back to some of the stuff I used to say. I said things about season 2, but I changed with new information, and the new information is Saucy Santana on College Hill Celebrity Edition. And that new information tells me that season 2 is better. But, okay. But I want to ask you this before we go, right? So one of the storylines that's buried by Saucy Santana being on the show is the valedictorian race. Okay, so Angela White is pulling up in there, right? And then I guess Tamar just says sputtered away because Tamar was tied with Claudia, and then they saying, "Oh, is it gonna be Angela? Is it gonna be Karlous? Or is it gonna be Claudia?" So I said that I believe that Claudia was gonna be the valedictorian, and Karlous is sort of in the lead, and he's leaning in, he's trying. So next season, no, next week is the last episode of the season. So who do you think will be the valedictorian now that we know what we know now?
Not gonna lie, I still think it's Karlous. I think Karlous gonna be like a sneak attack. You know what I'm saying? Like people didn't expect him, honestly, like we talked about last week, to get the grades that he got. Not saying he was like bumming it, not trying, but because his initial like pushback with the whole learning experience was just like that was what he was known for. So the fact that he was able to have the highest GPA of everyone was a pleasant surprise. So I honestly feel like it might be Karlous for Valedictorian because he's already at like a small lead over Claudia and Angela. So with that, I feel like that might secure him in that position. As far as like salutatorian, I think it could be a toss up between Claudia and Angela because they're both kind of like neck and neck kind of. Um, yeah, so those are honestly like my top three. Tamar, I feel like even though she has good grades, she's not. I think she's just there for the vibe. She's just there for the experience because, like she mentioned in the first episode, all of her sisters went to Bowie State, so she's the only one I think who doesn't have a college education. So even though she's not necessarily like, oh, I want to be valedictorian, I want to be salutatorian, I'm just here for the experience, which is fine. Sometimes you're just there just to get your education, just to learn, just to vibe. Nick, don't know too much about Nick, and Saucy is Saucy, so we can't really say too much on him. But I personally think it might be Karlous, because even with the complaining, he still does his work. Karlous is me when I was in college. Like I complained all the time because college is hard. Between the work, between the tests, between the studying, and don't be in those student organizations and don't have a job, and it gets hard trying to balance all that. So I definitely understand the complaining, but even with the complaining, the work still gets done. So I think that Karlous might be valedictorian, and if I was to choose another person, it might be Claudia. But Claudia and Angela definitely a toss up for salutatorian for sure.
I still believe that it'll be Claudia, but I agree with everything you're saying about Karlous possibly being the valedictorian. I just think that Claudia really wants to be valedictorian. I think she explains it in the next weeks. We saw some of the conversation between Karlous and Claudia. I think she really wants it. And I would venture to say that Karlous wants it. He's very silent with it, but I think Claudia wants it more than him. And not in like a disparaging way to Karlous, but I just think for some reason, similar almost like why Angela was upset that she didn't do well. I just feel like Claudia really, really wants this. And we'll find out next week why she really wants this. But I think that she's been on top of all of her classwork. I thought that she would lead the pack more in the political science class. Even this week with Vice President Kamala Harris being the presumptive Democratic nominee. If you look on Twitter, look at Claudia. Claudia is one of the main people, especially main celebrities that are out there saying donate and look at what's going on, look at all the money being raised. So she's very politically active. And then she was very active in defending President Biden when everybody was like, he should drop out. She was within those conversations. If you did not know who Claudia Jordan was, or you didn't know she was on this season, the College of Celebrity Edition, you probably have interfaced with those tweets because she's very politically active. So I thought that she would really stand out more in that political science class. I didn't expect her to know how to write a bill, but I thought it would be more of a curiosity that would lead her to getting an A probably out of everybody else in that class. We saw those things happen with the voter registration this episode, and then the whole entire thing on getting Gen Z to vote, that voter advocacy piece that she led with Angela. But I just think in general that she's really doing these assignments. I think the small assignments are going to matter because we saw in the philosophy class, she had the best grade in that class because she's doing the small assignments. And peep that Karlous didn't have the best grade in that class because I don't think Karlous was doing some of those assignments. So I think that ultimately Claudia could emerge because I believe that she's put all of her efforts into really trying to become this valedictorian and trying to do all the work. And I think that from the work, then I think she's a part of the track team too with Angela. I think she is. So like she's doing all of that and she's really balancing her work as well. So I honestly think that I would give it to Claudia just because I feel like she wants it that badly. But Kiya, great episode. Where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at Kiya on Fire on Instagram, TikTok, X, YouTube, Pinterest. And if you want to check out my writing, you can check it out on Clutch Points.
Like what you hear?
Yeah.
Subscribe to HBCU Pulse Radio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, head to HBCUPulse.com to stay up to date on what's going on in the HBCU community. Thank you for listening to HBCU Pulse Radio.